Boogeyman Ben.
Hey everyone, it's Boogeyman Ben. Hope everyone's doing well and everyone's having a nice weekend. This video is going to be part 2 of my Stephen King. I wanted to do a couple of tribute videos to my favorite author of all time, one of my heroes, somebody that I have all of his collected works, his books, pretty much every movie that's been made on his works. Now, back in February, I did a video for Arkham Knight 84. Where I talked about my favorite Stephen King movies, and next to Salem's Lot, I said that The Green Mile was my favorite Stephen King, adapted from his serialized novel from 1996. It was the novelization was published in 6 different parts. I have them. I'm going to move this for a second and showcase the books real quick. Here they are. These are the original books that were released. So the first one that came out was The Two Dead Girls. As you can see, it says Part 1. And these would come out every month. They're each close to about 100 pages. There's a picture of Mr. King right there, sporting a beard. And every month you would get another part in the series. Part 2. Yeah, Mouse on the Mile. Number 3, you had Coffee's Hands. Part 4, The Bad Death of Edouard Delacroix. Part 5, Night Journey. And the last novel was a little bit thicker. This one was about 140 pages. This is the last part, Part 6, Coffee on the Mile. And then they did put it in a collected volume like this. This is the complete serial novel that they put out a few years later. So it collects the entire thing. Then I also have the screenplay from the movie. And this is a great screenplay. To give a little trivia about the book, the reason Stephen King serialized the green novel was because it was a deliberate response to fans who flipped to the end of his books, something his mother used to do. The fans would have to wait to the last installments to find out the ending. King wrote each one with its own miniature climax, but even he admitted he didn't have a clue of how the story would end. The film adaptation of The Green Mile was released on December 10th of 1999. I remember I'd seen posters for that film early in the summer, and it was just a headshot of Tom Hanks, and I knew that they had cast the Paul Edgecombe character perfectly. The other, selling point for me was that it was going to be directed and written by Frank Darabont, who had done the fantastic film The Shawshank Redemption. I don't want to ruin anything for people that haven't seen the film, but I am going to talk about just how much the books and the film mean to me. It's, next to Salem's Lot, this is just my favorite Stephen King story. I think it's such a beautiful story. And I think that what Darabont was able to do with the film easily makes it one of my favorite films ever. I like it more than The Shawshank Redemption. In fact, back in February when I did the video for Arkham Knight 84, I knew that would cause maybe a little bit of controversy because I know a lot of people love The Shawshank Redemption, and I do too. It's in my top 5 of favorite Stephen King films, but there's something about The Green Mile that just, I don't know what it is. I think that as much as the cast of The Shawshank Redemption is fantastic, I think that I can't think of a film that has a better cast than The Green Mile. Everybody in this film is perfect. Everybody is so believable in their roles. And I think Tom Hanks is fantastic as Paul Edgecombe. It's my favorite
I love David Morse as Brutal. I think even though Doug Hutchinson plays such a despicable character as Percy Whitmore, I think he's fantastic in the role. You completely believe he is this asshole. Michael Jeter is fantastic as Edouard Delacroix. I love him in this film. It's so saddened that he's passed on because I think he's just fantastic.
Can't say enough great things about the late Michael Clark Duncan, another person that we've lost sadly, who just is fantastic as John Coffey. He breaks your heart in this film, and the fact that the producers were having a hard time finding who to play this character. And they were having a hard time finding out who was going to play John Coffey, and Bruce Willis was actually the one that suggested Michael because they were working on the movie Armageddon together. And John Coffey is supposed to be gigantic in this film, and I think what Michael did, if I remember correctly, is he quit working out so that he didn't look so muscular, that he just looked bulky, because that's the way he was supposed to look in the film. It wasn't supposed to be like a guy that was in immense physical shape. He was just gigantic and massive, and that's what Michael wanted to pull off, and I think he did it fantastically. Michael Clark Duncan is also the similar height as co-star David Morse, and is only a couple inches shorter than James Cromo, who plays Warden Hal. Among other things, creative camera angles were used to create the illusion that Duncan as John Coffey towered over the prison staff, even Brutal Hal and Warden Morse. But other fantastic, like I said, I think everybody in this film is fantastic. I think Bonnie Hunt is terrific as Jane Edgecombe. I think Graham Greene, even though his role is small, he's fantastic as Arlen Bitterbug. I think Sam Rockwell is just fantastic as well as Wild Bill Warden. He's one of my favorite actors, and this was the first big movie I had seen him in. And I still think he's just a completely underrated actor, just fantastic. And this movie, it was one of his first big things that proved just how fantastic he was. Barry Pepper is fantastic as Dean Stanton. Also, you have Jeffrey DeMunn, who I'm a huge fan of and always have been. People might remember him as Dale on the first 2 seasons of The Walking Dead. He plays Harry Terwilliger in this. And then you have Patricia Clarkson, who plays Melinda Moores. The great Harry Dean Stanton as Toot. It's just everyone in this cast is fantastic. I just love this film. There's just I've watched this film hundreds of times. I just think it's a beautiful story, even though it takes place. It takes place in a prison. It deals with people that have committed horrible acts, but it also deals with forgiveness. It deals with life. It deals with regret. It deals with so many different themes, and the performances and the direction and the writing and the music by Thomas Newman is one of my favorite scores of all time. It's just it all just works so well together, and it's so masterfully done. I could go on and on about this, and I don't want to ruin any of the plot of The Green Mile for people who haven't seen it, because people owe it to themselves to either buy the book and read it and then see the movie, or vice versa. Now, for me, I read the book, I knew the story before I saw the movie, but the movie is just, it just gets you. And the first time I saw the movie, I was very sad at the end of it. But, because it's such a different ending than Shawshank Redemption. Shawshank Redemption is about hope, and that ending for that film is just so uplifting. Whereas this film, there's such a sadness to it, and but it works. It works so well, and it is completely. There are changes that have been made from the book, but not very many. It pretty much follows the same, in terms of an older Paul Edgecombe telling the story, and about the Green Mile and about John Coffey and the 2 dead girls, and it's just so. There's nothing bad you can say about it, and I'm glad that this film has endured. I know a lot more people are fans of it now than they were when it came out, even though this film did very well. There was a lot of people that just said it was too long. I actually feel like it's the perfect length. The movie's almost 3 hours long, but it's another film for me that just flies by. I think it's just so fantastically done. And it's one I just wanted to talk about because I just feel like it's one that needs some focus on my channel, even though it's not a horror story by any means. It does deal with some horrific themes, and I think it's just since it's so important to me, it was worth talking about on this channel and being part of this tribute I'm doing to Stephen King. So like I said, I don't like to give spoilers away, but I'm curious to see what people think about The Green Mile, if people have read the book, if people have seen the movie. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. And I want to thank everyone for taking the time to watch this video. And please stay tuned for some more tributes to Stephen King. Hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Take it easy. Peace.